Welcome to the Fair and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Wednesday, the 4th of October, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1. Well, tough day on the market. The S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.8% today to finish at an 11-month low of 6,890 points. It was a very broad-based sell-off with financials, telcos and energy stocks leading the way. Easily the best performers were the defensive stocks, the companies that tend to have steady earnings, utilities players, consumer staples and healthcare stocks. Among the top 200, about 70% of companies went backwards today. All Big Four banks fell by around 1.5%. Macquarie dropped more than 2%. Others to fall by more than 1% included Woodside, Telstra, Transurban and QBE Insurance. Fortescue Metals Group, Rio Tinto and Newcrest Mining were among the few large caps to end the day in the black. The tumble followed a sell-off on Wall Street overnight and rising US bond yields. Basically, bonds are the place to be for investors. Hence, equities are being sold off. In corporate news, packaging group Aurora was among the best of the ASX 200 after it updated investors on the progress of its Saverglass acquisition. Its share price jumped 2.2%. Story number 2, migration agents working on behalf of temporary workers seeking to come to Australia will face tough new background and character checks as part of the Albanese government's crackdown on the exploitation of visa holders. A report for the federal government by former Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Christine Nixon, released today, found grotesque abuses, that's a quote, grotesque abuses in the system, including commonplace sexual exploitation, human trafficking and other organised crime. According to the Financial Review, Labor will spend an immediate $50 million on integration of intelligence, investigations and integrity work at the Department of Home Affairs, warning that the processes and procedures governing those who could enter the country were fundamentally broken and open to systemic abuse. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neil announced plans to double the number of staff overseeing regulations for migration agents and significant increases in financial penalties for misconduct. Currently, the rules allow for up to 10 years imprisonment and fines of up to $16,500 for breaches. Now, that's significantly lower than in countries like Canada, New Zealand and Britain. Story number 3, talks on Vocus Group's bid for some $6 billion worth of TPG's fibre assets continue. The original announcement was a couple of months ago and Vocus was granted a due diligence period, but that period's now expired, having already been extended once. Today, TPG said talks between the two parties are continuing and any such transaction involves considerable complexity, no doubt. Media reports say the two companies are still negotiating which assets will be included in a potential sale and how any sale will impact commercial arrangements. Story number 4, West Australia's resources sector is bracing for chaos ahead of a pilot strike that's expected to affect thousands of fly-in, fly-out workers and has sparked claims it could discourage overseas investment in the state. Pilots employed by a Qantas subsidiary, Network Aviation, plan to walk off the job for 24 hours over a long-running pay dispute. The protected industrial action has resulted in about 50% of scheduled flights being cancelled as the airline scrambles to find alternatives. This includes rerouting Qantas 737 jets, using aircraft from other charter operators and moving flights to other days. Now, BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals Group said some of their operations will be impacted by the strike and they're working to minimise disruption. Wage negotiations between Network Aviation and its pilots have been at a standstill since March. And story number 5, a big one. US House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy this morning became the first speaker in history to be voted out of the top job after members of his own Republican Party sided with the Democrats to dump him. McCarthy's chief rival, Florida Congressman and Donald Trump supporter Matt Gaetz, brought forward a motion to vacate the Speaker's chair, which was supported by 11 hard right Conservatives and all the Democrats. McCarthy was voted out 216 to 210. He says he won't run again. Now, the Speaker is among the most senior positions in US politics, overseeing the lower house. McCarthy's defeat pushes the Republican leadership into chaos. That won't help their chances in next year's election. Overriding all this, of course, Donald Trump. Gates brought on the challenge after McCarthy worked with Democrats to push through a bill over the weekend that avoided a US government shutdown. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 4th of October 2023. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with a Thursday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.